Have you ever wondered what does living a life of true surrender looks like? Just imagine a life where you surrender your fears, desires, and control over to God. While it may sound like enslavement, it's the greatest feeling of freedom. You're no longer in charge of figuring out the path and destiny of your life. It's freeing because you understand that who better than God can make a masterpiece out of every season of your life, including the most difficult ones. This act of faith can shape a person's life in profound ways. Take, for instance, the story of Betty Scott Stam and her husband John. These individuals exemplified a life lived by the principles of surrender and faith, even in the face of adversity. Now let us dive into the remarkable story of Betty Scott Stam and her husband. Betty Scott Stam and her husband John were missionaries in China, dedicated to their faith and service. Their devotion carried them to a land far from home, with hearts brimming with love and a mission to share the message of hope and faith. Betty and John Stam weren't just ordinary missionaries, they were bearers of an unyielding faith, a beacon of light in the darkness. Their journey was not without hardship, but their faith remained unshaken. They found themselves in the clutches of Chinese communists, their lives hanging by a thread. Yet even in the face of such adversity, they remained steadfast, their faith unwavering. In the throes of their trials, they clung to their faith, surrendering to God's will. They believed in His plan. It was this surrender that gave them strength, that allowed them to face their fate with courage. Their surrender wasn't a sign of defeat. Instead, it was an act of ultimate trust in their Creator. Their lives may have been cut short, but their legacy lived on to change the lives of so many. Their daughter, just a young child at the time, was rescued by a Chinese Christian who risked their own life, a testament to the influence of their faith and the seeds they had sown. Their story is a testament to the power of faith and surrender, deeply impacting those who hear it. Betty and John's lives and their ultimate sacrifice left a profound impact. Their story of surrender resonated with many, particularly Elizabeth Elliot. She memorized the following prayer written by Betty when Elizabeth was 18. "Lord, I give up all my own plans and purposes, all my own desires and hopes, and accept Thy will for my life. I give myself, my life, my all, utterly to Thee to be Thine forever. Fill me and seal me with Thy Holy Spirit. Use me as Thou wilt, send me where Thou wilt, and work out Thy whole will in my life at any cost, now and forever." This prayer became Elizabeth's guide, her beacon in overcoming personal struggles. She leaned on biblical truths, the cornerstone of her faith, to understand God's goodness and perfect ways. In the face of trials, they chose to surrender to their faith, leaving an enduring legacy. Their story reminds us of the power of faith and surrender. Let's take a moment to reflect on the profound journey of Betty and John Stam. Contemplate on what it truly means to surrender everything for the sake of Christ, to let go and fully trust God's sovereign guidance. Ponder on how you can apply such resilience and surrender in your own life. If you found this story inspiring, please like and subscribe to our channel for more daily inspiration. Remember, the power of surrender and faith produces eternal perspective.